All right, we call this meeting of the Tennessee Auctioneers Commission to order. You want a roll call, Nicole?
Ronnie Collier is excused. Bobby Colson,
Here.
Howard Phillips,
Here.
Jeff Morris is excused. Adam Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Chair, we have quorum.
Okay.
Hey, I just talked to Ronnie and he was calling in.
Okay.
Matter of fact, wasn't he on the phone a second ago?
Is he on the line?
Ronnie, are you on the phone? Apparently he's not here.
Hello?
Okay.
Okay. Well, if he chimes in, he can always add. We can always have an extra.
All right, notice of meeting, Nicole?
The notice of this December 7th, 2015 meeting of the Auctioneer Commission was posted to the Auctioneer Commission website on November 30th, 2015. Shall I just proceed with the statement of necessity?
Yes.
According to TCA 844-108B, number 2, if a physical quorum is not present at the location of a meeting of a governing body other than a state debt issuer, the governing body, very repetitive, the governing body other than a state debt issuer must file such determination of necessity, including the recitation of facts and circumstances on which it was based, with the office of the Secretary of State no later than 2 working days after the meeting. Furthermore, TCA 844-108A3 defines necessity as matters to be considered by the governing body at that meeting require timely action by the body, that the physical presence of a quorum of the members is not practical within the period of time requiring action, and that participation by a quorum of the members by electronic or other means of communication is necessary. This is the regularly scheduled meeting for the Auctioneer Commission. The purpose of today's meeting via teleconference is to discuss the legal report, applications, and other normal business. There are complaints and applications that will require the Commission's action before the next meeting in February. It's the best interest of the Commission that all parties that have complaints and applications are resolved quickly. Waiting till the next meeting is unnecessary and puts parties at a disadvantage by waiting 3 more months to have the proposed resolutions to these matters.
And now we have that on the record. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda?
I have.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Has everyone had a chance to read the minutes from November 2nd, or would you like a minute to look at them?
No.
Entertain a motion.
I don't have the minutes from November the 2nd.
Get them email? I bet they was on the email and you didn't. Oh, well.
Well, can we not adopt them next meeting?
Can we do that?
Sure you can. We could
Okay,
just table this one.
Okay, we will table the reviewing of the minutes. Keelan, I believe it's your turn.
Okay. Are we ready for the legal report, Nicole, or is there something else that you wanted to do first?
Nope, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Item number 1, 2015020861.
We're doing the legal
Sorry.
report.
Yes, legal report.
Realized after I read that he might not be ready. Are you ready, Mr. Phillips?
I am ready.
Oh, perfect. This is great. Okay. This complaint was filed by a licensed auctioneer and alleged that respondent continued using complainant's license number to advertise auctions, though complainant was no longer calling auctions for respondent. Complainant alleges that respondent is holding auctions without an auctioneer firm or gallery license. Further research indicates that respondent is now utilizing a different license number. The complaint also alleges that respondent does not have an escrow account. Respondent advertised auctions for September 3rd, September 5th.
Did we lose you?
I'm here.
Okay.
In September 12th, 2015, legal counsel requested an investigation of respondent that was conducted on or about September 5th, 2015. Investigator conducted a visit of the subject auction location. Or maybe he's trying to call in.
It may be Ronnie trying to call in.
Okay, it's not me. Sitting here listening to that wonderful attorney.
Okay, I'll keep going. Investigator conducted a visit of the subject auction location, and the building had a sign posted saying auction. Investigator met with the respondent, identified as the operator of the business. Respondent stated he did have a license as an auctioneer and a firm license for the subject address. No license was displayed at the location or produced by respondent. Investigator was unable to locate any type of license related to respondent. On or about October 17, 2015, investigator returned to the subject location and there was an auction in progress. Respondent was present and overseeing the auction. The man conducting the auction stated that he was not a licensed auctioneer. The man stated he thought he could conduct an auction as long as he did not receive payment for his service. Respondent owner stated that the license number that was posted on an online advertisement was a number listed on the sign that was already on the building. Again, there were no licenses posted at the location. Investigator took photos of both the unlicensed auctioneer and respondent at the time of the October 17, 2015 auction. Respondent advertised at least 4 auctions without proper licensure to do so. The investigator visited 2 of those auctions and witnessed the auctions taking place. Respondent also had an unlicensed auctioneer calling at least one of the auctions that was visited by investigator. This constitutes 4 violations of TCA 6219-102A1. As such, counsel recommends the authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $4,000 for unlicensed activity to be satisfied within 30 days of execution of the consent order. Such terms to be settled by consent order or formal hearing.
Make a motion, we go with legal recommendation.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item 2, 201502-13231. This complaint was filed by a concerned citizen and alleged that respondent firm is in blatant violation of auction rules and regulations. Complainant alleged that the owners of the auction house do not hold a gallery license and they allow unlicensed auctioneers to call the auction. The complaint alleges they do not use consignment sheets for the sellers and they pay in cash, which means they are not using the required escrow account. Complainant also alleges that respondents' auctions include a raffle, which is also a violation of the law. Office of Legal Counsel requested an investigation which was conducted on or about October 21, 2015 and yielded the following information. All of respondents' licenses appeared valid and up to date. On October 21, 2015, investigator visited an auction at the subject location and observed the sale for approximately 2 hours. Investigator approached the auctioneer and asked him for his credentials. He then produced his auctioneer license and his firm license. Respondent owner stated that he owns respondent firm and that an associate leases the building there and runs the concession stand. Respondent owner also gave investigator the firm's official address and stated that he has a firm branch for this current location. There was a stand-in auctioneer present who was calling the auction while the other auctioneer was taking a break. The stand-in auctioneer did not have an auctioneer license. He stated he was licensed in Georgia and that respondent owner probably thought he was licensed in Tennessee as well. Respondent stated that they have had a Saturday night auction every week since November 2014 and had started Wednesday auctions only 2 months ago. Respondent owner admitted that he pays his sellers in cash. However, he did have an old escrow account that he had used with another auction that he used to run. Respondent stated that his firm license is listed to his home address but uses his firm branch license for the subject location. Respondent stated that he did not have a county business tax license with this current auction but used to have one when he ran an auction with a different name. Respondent also admitted to allowing the unlicensed auctioneer from Georgia to call the auction while the other auctioneer took a break. While attending the auction, investigators saw no evidence of bid shilling, buy bidding, or a raffle being used. The allegation of using an unlicensed auctioneer was substantiated, as well as paying sellers cash instead of using an escrow account. Counsel recommends the authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $2,000 for violations of TCA 6219-102A1, which is the unlicensed activity statute, and TCA 6219-112B4, which applies to the escrow account, to be satisfied within 30 days of execution of the consent order, such terms to be settled by consent order or formal hearing.
Well, would like to ask one question before I make a motion.
Okay.
Since they're paying in cash and don't have a escrow account, are they collecting sales tax?
I don't, that was not mentioned anywhere in the file, so I don't know the answer
I'd
to
bet
that.
they ain't.
Could we add to this that the Department of Revenue should be called and check it out?
Yeah, we can, I can do like I guess kind of a recommendation letter to them asking if they want to look into it further. If that's what you want to do, we can just add that on to the recommendation.
Okay. With that add-on, I make a motion we accept council's recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm just going to jot this down real quick. Okay, item 3, 201502124001. This complaint was filed by an auctioneer licensee and alleged that respondent is a 3-time convicted felon, never used consignment sheets, and is constantly using fake bids to raise the bids. Complainant also alleges that respondent firm is posting false advertisements on Facebook in order to try and steal business from complainant. Respondent sent a response to the complaint stating that it is another obvious and blatant attempt by complainant to drum up support of any kind in hopes of some sort of disciplinary action to be brought against respondent. Respondent stated that he is growing tired of complainant's repeated complaints and attempts to discredit respondent since his termination with the company. Respondent stated in response to complainant's allegations that a past felony conviction does not prohibit him from holding a gallery license in Tennessee. When applying for such license, respondent owner stated he answered all questions honestly. Respondent also stated that complainant was never involved in the consignment process for respondent company and has no knowledge of consignment requirements because he is never there when the consignments took place. He was only an auctioneer, as he previously stated, and cannot attest to the consignments by respondent company. Respondent owner stated that he was contacted by several people, stating that they were approached by complainant asking if they would file some sort of complaint against respondent, and even offering them money to do so. Respondent stated complainant will stop at nothing to discredit respondent. Respondent stated that he has answered all complaints filed against him and has spoken with investigators on 3 different occasions, and they have concluded that respondent is in compliance. The recommendation is to dismiss. Although respondent's gallery license is expired as of November 5th, 2015, respondent gallery was properly licensed at all times relevant to this complaint. Complainant failed to provide sufficient evidence of a violation on the part of respondent in this matter.
They're not still having sales.
No, not to my knowledge. And this particular respondent has come up many times, and we've never had disciplinary action against them, and they have always been good about responding to the investigators, and it just seems
Have
to
we had a
keep coming
complaint,
up.
this same thing before?
Yes.
Okay. I make a motion that we accept council's recommendation and dismiss and tell the guy don't send any more letters.
Well, I was actually in the next item going to make a suggestion close that pertains to that, so we can discuss that then.
We have
Second.
a motion to go with legal's recommendation. We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, item 4, 2015-0212-402. This respondent is the owner of the auction gallery listed in the previous complaint, number 201502424001. The complaint alleges that respondent is a 3-time convicted felon. This response by this respondent is basically the same response as the response in the previous item because, like I said, this is the owner of that gallery. This respondent has also come up several times, and it seems to be the same set of allegations every single time. So I made the recommendation to dismiss, and then I added the commission has the discretion to decline to open any formal complaints involving the same facts as presented here against this respondent, that the respondent is not properly licensed or has a criminal history. So it seems like we just keep having these same complaints against this person over and over and over based on his felony convictions when in the past the commission
same
has
person doing it.
and the commission has voted in the past to that this is okay, that he's okay. He didn't falsify anything on the application. The way the application is set up, what he was convicted for is not even something that we list on our application, and I have a feeling that this is just going to keep happening.
Somebody just
So,
keeps pounding, dude.
yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, if you guys want to make that decision to decline to open, now it'll be a different story if we get a complaint and it's not the same set of facts. But if the allegations
Right.
are his felony convictions, it's not necessary to keep doing this. So,
This is a Hatfields and McCoys.
yeah. So you guys have that discretion if you want to make that call.
I would entertain a motion.
I motion we accept legal's recommendation to dismiss and to decline the opening of any formal complaints involving the same facts again.
Do we have a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Second.
You all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
You sounded a little hesitant there, Howard.
Open any formal complaints. Okay, I was thinking of formal hearing, never mind.
Oh, no, right.
Right, and it'll
Yeah, what they're talking about is if this same person keeps pounding this same guy with the same complaint, there's no need of wasting our time fooling with it over and the same thing over and over again.
Absolutely, I'm buried.
okay. Item 5, 201502137441. This complaint was filed by an auctioneer and alleged that respondent had intentions of keeping his auctioneer block, cash register, and personal desk, and that he violated the code of ethics of the auctioneer profession. Complainant alleged that he decided to close his auction on July 3rd, 2015, and left town for a 3-day vacation. Complainant claimed that he had 2 weeks paid rent in advance to allow himself to remove his personal belongings from the building. Upon returning on July 6, complainant found the doors of the building had new locks. The landlord informed complainant that Respondent Gallery was now renting the building and was told that complainant had 2 weeks to clear the building. Complainant learned after entering the building that his property had been removed and placed in storage. Complainant noted upon further observance that Respondent had intentions of keeping his auctioneer block, cash register, and personal desk as those items had not been removed. Complainant believes that Respondent's actions are very unbecoming and should not be condoned by the Commission as they are in direct violation of the Code of Ethics. Respondent Gallery owner sent a response to the complaint stating that the landlord informed Respondent that he rented to complainant by the week and that complainant was 2 weeks behind on his rent and he would be glad to rent Respondent the building. Respondent stated that he entered the building on July 5th and asked the landlord if he could store complainant's belongings in the storage room adjacent to the auction, and the landlord replied in the affirmative. Respondent stated he paid to have complainant's belongings moved to storage. Nothing was harmed and no damage was done to any of the items, nor did Respondent impose on complainant's rights to retrieve his belongings. Respondent stated he spoke with complainant and informed him that his items were in the storage room and that complainant was okay with it. Respondent stated that now that complainant has locked arms with another individual who filed a complaint against Respondent, he all of a sudden has a problem with the way Respondent handled the situation. Respondent stated that this complaint is just another attempt to discredit Respondent, and that if complainant had a complaint with the way the Respondent handled the transition, he should simply contact the landlord who owns the property and rented it to Respondent. The recommendation in this matter is to dismiss.
Okay, I have a little bit of problem with this. One of them is not telling the truth, either the previous auctioneer or the landlord, because the auctioneer said he was 2 weeks in advance when he was going to take a vacation. Is that correct? And the landlord said he's not. But I don't think that if I lease the building that Bobby's operating out of now, I don't have the right to keep his cash register and his desk and his personal stuff.
Right, and I'm not 100% sure he actually kept those items. I think the issue was when the Respondent came back from his 3-day vacation, all of his items were moved to storage, except those 3 items weren't put away. And I think at that moment he assumed that because they weren't also put into storage that this other person was just going to keep them. But there was no affirmation that he actually did keep those items. But I do see what you're saying.
So you think he got his desk and cash register back?
He did not, yeah, he'd never stated that the other person actually kept those items. I think upon re-entering the building and when he saw they weren't in storage, he assumed that's what was going to happen, but it didn't actually, was never affirmed that he did.
Okay. I make a motion, we take legal's recommendation to dismiss.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I bet it's Ronnie trying to call.
Well,
in.
I hope he
bet
gets
it is.
through. Bless him. Okay, well, we'll just keep going. Item
Bonnie
6.
is down in a place that doesn't have good phone reception this morning. He said he's going to look at some property down at Etowah, and he doubted if he could get through. Am
Maybe
I
he
still
will.
here?
Yeah, we got you.
We're just gonna proceed, and if he comes through, then that's great.
Yeah, we're nearly
Doing
there.
good.
Yep. Item 6, 201502137442. The respondent in this matter is the owner of the gallery listed in the previous complaint, number 201502137441. The respondent's response in this matter is the same as the previous matter, so I recommended dismissal on this matter as well.
Motion
And
we
I make
accept.
my motion. Well, accept legal's recommendation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 7, 201502158881. This complaint was filed by a consumer and alleged that respondent extended closing time to match the complainant's maximum bid. Complainant stated that respondent held an online auction ending on August 26, 2015. Complainant bid on several items consisting of 2 chairs and a table. Complainant alleged she was outbid on the table, but the 2 chairs closed at approximately $220 with her winning bids of $850 and $900. Her maximum bid on the chairs was approximately $1,450 and placed at 9:40 that morning. About 47 minutes after closing, the 2 chair lots were reported and bid up to $1,400 and $1,450, exactly her maximum bid placed earlier that morning. According to complainant, the auctioneer stated that some closing times were extended due to computer system failure, which may have been true, but the lots in question had closed. She also stated that an anti-sniping feature is employed whereby if a lot receives a bid within 15 minutes of closing, it will automatically extend the closing time. This also did not apply to these lots. They clearly closed and were reopened for the purpose of shilling. Respondent sent a lengthy response to the complaint, stating it specializes in online auctions and hosts sales on a monthly basis. Respondent stated its online auctions are reminiscent of what people experience when they use eBay, but with a few key differences. During one of respondent's auctions, if a bid is placed on an item during the last 5 minutes before the item is scheduled to sell, the bidding is extended for another 5 minutes. This feature discourages what respondent calls sniping and is standard for any software used in the online auction industry. With regard to the particular online auction in question, respondent stated that their software suffered a glitch which caused the bidding to shut down for approximately 15 minutes. Since the complainant had placed a $1,500 maximum bid on each chair, the software would automatically bid on his behalf if another customer placed a competing but lower bid on either item. It appears that 2 other bidders were actively bidding against the complainant on each of the 2 chairs. The other bidder placed $500 bids on each of the 2 chairs but was immediately and automatically outbid by the complainant's maximum bid. The other bidder then stopped bidding on the chairs. There was another bidder who did the same. Both of these bids were placed before the software glitch occurred. The other bidders were legitimate people and not phantom bidders as suggested by complainant. Complainant sent additional information after the respondent responded to say that respondent is new to the online auction business and does not have the skills necessary for operating a technology-based online business. Complainant does not question the glitch that affected the web-based bidding platform. Complainant reiterates that the basis for her complaint was that the other bidder was informed of complainant's maximum bid for the purpose of escalating the final price, evidenced by the fact that he stopped short by 1 and 2 incremental bid amounts of complainant's maximum bid of $1,500. When complainant spoke to respondent about the issue, respondent stated that the other bidder would be the winner should complainant default. Complainant then decided to let them go because she knew the chairs would not be going home with anyone. According to complainant, as expected, the lots were offered at respondent's next auction the following month. My recommendation is to dismiss.
Well, when I read this and I got down to reasoning and recommendation dismiss, I wrote out why.
Why did I recommend dismiss?
Yes, ma'am. The thing that bothers me, number one is we do online auctions every week also, and we've never done an online auction that I liked. I like auctions where people are here and we know exactly what's going on, but that is the way of the future. But why were the chairs still sitting and placed in the next auction?
I'm assuming because the complainant in this matter didn't take the chairs, and neither
But she was outbid.
the complainant was the one
Oh,
who
no, she wasn't outbid.
right. She was
Right,
the
and
one
I've
who
n-
won the chairs.
I don't know about you, but I ain't never had any luck getting a backup bidder to buy anything.
No.
You know, they always say, oh, they bid against me and they didn't have no money, they backed that, I ain't getting out for that. So let's put it in the next sale and went on. That's what I'd have done.
You know what? I probably would have too.
Huh?
I make a motion that we take council's recommendation to dismiss. I just want to make sure that my mind was clear on that.
It was a little confusing. I had to read it several times to get my mind right too. But
Okay. I think you did the right thing.
well, thank you.
Wait,
Second.
do we have a second?
Second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Okay, we're on the last item.
Aye.
Oh, sorry. Item 8.
I'll slow, I'll go too.
2015-021-9701. This complaint was filed by an auctioneer for unlicensed conduct. Complainant requested that the commission stop the auction from being held on November 7th, 2015. The auction was advertised as a short notice important auction, acquisition from settlement of divorce after 25 years of marriage. There was a second complainant who alleged a second auction being held by respondent on November 8th, 2015. The advertisement does not include the auctioneer or license number. It appears to be substantially similar to the flyer for the November 7th auction, but in a different location. Legal counsel requested an investigation of respondent, which took place on or about November 7th, 2015. Investigator located the facility where the auction was to take place and photographed the interior area where several dozen rugs, pictures, and jewelry were on display. At the 2 p.m. start time, an individual stood in the front of the room and stated that he had an announcement that earlier that day a government official with the auctioneer board said they did not provide the required documents to hold an auction. Therefore, the auction must be canceled. Any single cash offer will be considered for each item on display. This individual contracted with respondent to call and facilitate the auctions. He stated that until he is assured that proper licensure is obtained, no auction will be conducted in Tennessee. So basically what happened was the investigator went out there to try to be preemptive, and it seemed to have worked. It's kind of how I look at it.
Got them with their pants down.
Right.
A short notice important auction
That's what it was
as
advertised.
opposed to a long notice unimportant auction.
Right. So
Did they not do the auction?
they did not have the auction, but they did still. It was still advertised, which is still a violation. But when the investigators showed up, they chose to just cancel the auction and not actually go through with it. But respondent is an unlicensed firm. Office of Legal Counsel has evidence that respondent advertised two separate auction dates, one on November 7th and one on November 8th, without proper licensure to do so, in violation of TCA 6219-102A1. As such, counsel recommends authorization of a civil penalty in the amount of $2,000 to be satisfied within 30 days of execution of the order, such terms to be settled by consent order or formal hearing. And we do try to get the investigators there to do this exact thing when we catch it in time. Sometimes it's hard.
Good.
Sound like they did good on this one.
They did, but are we sure that the investigator went out the day the auction was supposed to take place? Is that right?
Yes.
So he knows that the auction didn't take place.
Right. He stayed there until I think everybody dispersed. So
Make a motion that we, take council's recommendation for a $2,000, penalty.
Have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's all I have for the legal report. Thank you, guys.
But I have a question for you.
Okay, great. I'm ready.
I have a question for you. Have you got the public auto auction notice sent to the, legislative yet?
No.
Better get on stick. Time's running out.
Okay.
I appreciate it. We are gonna get it done, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, you did good.
Thank you.
Now we're on to application review.
Yes, I have a few applications that I sent for review. The first one is Harold Wayne Canada. Best pronunciation. Submitted an application for an auctioneer license. He resides in North Carolina, and he checked yes to the criminal offense question on the application, which is in relation to a conviction of in 2006 for possession with intent to, this is how he put it, and I quoted it, so intention to sell marijuana and simple possession of cocaine. You can refer to the application in the packet. He completed all of his requirements of the sentencing, and he indicated he regrets his past decisions, and he's made steps towards demonstrating rehabilitation. I included for your reference the statutory language that best fits the authority of the commission in determining, excuse me, whether or not to grant or deny a license. My recommendation on this one, it has been a period of time. I don't know that conviction in 2006, even though it was a felony. I don't know if it specifically should exclude him from being an auctioneer, but I will defer to whatever the commission decides.
Is this a reciprocal deal?
Yes, and he does not live in Tennessee.
Have any discussion?
I make a motion that we do not accept this application.
Yes, you may.
I think it's probably a good idea if we're gonna say we don't want to accept the application to say why, so we can have something that we can tell this person.
Well, because he was selling drugs, including cocaine.
And does he have a conviction?
Yes.
He had a conviction for selling marijuana and possession of cocaine.
Okay, so we have I'm just going to throw this in there because in 6219-112, we have a statute that says the commission may suspend, revoke, or refuse to renew any license issued under this chapter where the license has been obtained by false or fraudulent representations or for any of the following causes. So number 6, B6 says being convicted in a court of competent jurisdiction of the state or any other state or of the United States of a criminal offense involving moral turpitude or a felony. So I'm just throwing that in there so that we have a point of reference.
That's why I included it as a point of reference.
I just like to
So-
link them together.
You could, Howard, if you could make that number 6 part of your motion.
Okay, I'll do that.
Right. Yeah, we would just make 6219-112 B6 part of the motion.
Okay.
We can't discuss until there's a second.
No, we can't. You can discuss anytime you want to. It could,
Okay, so I'm recognizing the fact that he was selling drugs and he's been convicted. It was in 2006. But we just got done discussing a complaint on an individual who had 3 felonies in their past. and we're not finding any fault there. So how is it, help me understand how this is different in, and why we should decline. It was the one that we all agreed we're sick of hearing the same complaint about this individual. Same person coming back time and time again, same
okay.
facts, same situation.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be argumentative when
Yeah,
I
I
ask that
understand,
question.
but-
I'm
well, I
just
think-
genuinely trying to understand the logic behind why we would
I
say
think
they're
that-
okay, but this person's a no-go.
I think the other one had more to do with, there's apparently, it's obviously just one individual out there that keeps hounding this one guy.
Right, but my question was the fact they've got, I think,
Well, he already
correct me
had
if
Three
I'm wrong,
felonies, yeah.
3 felonies. They were honest in their application. They filled out the application honestly. This individual has a conviction. Is that considered a felony?
Yeah, he
Yes.
has one felony.
So he
on
has
here.
one felony. He was honest on the application. Is that correct?
Correct.
And so I can't see the precedent apparently that we've said is it's okay as long as you're honest about it.
Well, not necessarily.
It's up to the commission to
Not,
decide. if
yeah,
it's
not
okay.
necessarily. I mean, apparently, whenever he came up and had his discussion, I'm sure there was discussion when he had his. I don't know what happened whenever he got his application. I don't remember, or might not even been here. I don't know. I think on this one, I think
don't remember a gallery license coming up before the commission with 3 felonies, not when I
Right.
was on it.
Maybe it's not the gallery license, but in the legal report, we discussed the complaint against an individual who had 3 felonies in their past. That was one of the major complaints, was that they were unlicensed and they had 3 felonies in their past. And that is a complaint against that respondent that's come up several times to the commission, and in every case, we said dismiss.
And I know there's a lot of documents attached to this particular application, but if you look, most of these were dismissed. Most of these charges were dismissed.
Oh, we do have the application on here, don't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
It follows right behind. And including his summary of what happened.
Because they were dismissed doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
Right, and I agree with that. I think when we say dismiss, we're simply saying it doesn't affect their standing as a licensed auctioneer.
Right.
That's what the basis of the complaint was. So I can't second your particular motion because I just don't feel like we're being consistent. However, I do agree that obviously selling drugs and being convicted of having them on your person is wrong. But I'm looking back at how we've voted and how we've entertained other similar situations, and I just feel like it's important to be consistent. And again, if I'm not seeing,
Sure
Well,
you're
the
comparing
thing
apples?
about it is, I think what the crux of that other one is that's just the complainant saying that he had 3 felonies. I don't know that we went back and looked on his application and seen if he did or what they were. So I don't know, because he's already licensed. See what I
right?
mean?
Didn't we discuss something similar last month though in the legal report where someone this is in the discussion came
it's
about
not the first
what
time
we
we've
need
had
to-
one with felonies,
Yeah.
no question.
I,
It's the first time I remember cocaine, but it's not the first
I'm
time.
trying to think of a way to try to help clarify this.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm thinking that if there is a difference, the only difference would be that in the complaint itself, the complainant made these allegations. I think the only difference is, if you even consider this a difference, I don't know. That respondent in that complaint, when he filled out his application, he was honest about the felony convictions. The only difference there was it didn't fall into that really slim category of the language that we have listed on the application. I'm trying to remember in my mind if
What
it
was
has
the
something
offense?
to do with. Do you remember what the slim two or three things on the application are? His particular felony didn't fall into that category. So he's saying, well, I was being honest.
Okay.
I didn't fall into that little slim
That's what
picture.
drove the discussion about whether or not we need to change the language on
Correct.
the application. That was
So
last month.
That's the only difference.
Okay.
But I do see what you're saying about how do we make that distinction.
Okay.
So-
Well, then in that case, I mean, I understand that. I will second that motion because I think if we're going off of the language of involving moral turpitude or a felony. I think that certainly, and I'm looking at the same list you are.
Nicole, do you by chance have the application?
It's a pretty good
It's
list.
attached.
Okay, hold
But I
on
think
one
you're right. I
second.
think we need to stay consistent.
Yeah, but let's see what the language in the application says and compare it with the statute. That might be helpful.
Has the applicant ever had a real estate, an auctioneer or apprentice auctioneer license revoked, suspended, or ever been disciplined in this or any other state? Yes or no, attached to the detailed statement. And then there's another one. Has anyone ever obtained a judgment against an applicant involving personal property or real estate in any court? Or have you ever been convicted of any criminal offense other than a minor traffic violation? Yes or no? If yes, attach a detailed statement.
Okay, so it don't really say felony, does it? It says
I must have
anything
been
other
thinking
than
of something
minor.
different because that's not what I had in my mind.
It says anything other than a minor traffic violation, yes or no?
A lot of these were dismissed by the DA too.
Right, like I said, a lot of the
Yeah.
things he attached were dismissed. And when he called,
Lawyer.
he said a lot of it had to do with, he was going through a divorce and he and his wife were calling the cops on each other.
So the last conviction of any kind was in 2006.
Right. He wrote a summary of what happened, so I'm not speaking out of turn. He said similar. Should be on page.
I'm sorry, I just have one more question. Was that the gallery license application that you were reading from?
No, it's the auctioneer license.
What does the gallery license say? As far as the felonies or whatever.
I don't know. I don't think I have a gallery
Okay.
license here with me today.
I think that's the one I was referring to when I was trying to make my explanation.
I think they all say the same thing.
His application says, this is in regards to a criminal question. Yes, I regret that I was convicted in 2006 of possession with intent to sale marijuana and simple possession of cocaine. A very poor decision that was eye-opening experience in my life. It cost me more than I ever dreamed. I went through all the penalties with determination to turn my life around and to make a better life for me and my family. Now, looking back, it seems like a lifetime ago, and so much has changed. It has always embarrassed me and the shame I carried then, and feel ashamed now to have to mention it. Please look past this and not judge me for that, for I'm not the person I was then, nor do I partake in any such matters. As for where I worked the last 6 years, we live on a farm where I worked and took care of my handicapped brother-in-law and handicapped father-in-law until my wife retired, then helped her until last year when my father-in-law passed. However, we've done away with all the animals now, so could concentrate on my business and work. Last 3 years, worked for the high roller motorcycle seats. And last 2.5 years, Mendenhall Auto Auction, Canada Auctions, and bid calling for the last 3 years. And then he lists license number. Whatever the will of the commission is, I don't, I'm not invested one direction or the other, but
Have a motion on the floor. Best I remember,
I'll second it to go to a vote.
to deny the application based on
6219,
6219.
112.
112B6.
Yeah.
We have a second.
Do you have a motion and a second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
we need a roll call vote on this one.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Wait. Why do we need a roll call vote on this one? We didn't have any roll calls voting on any of the others.
I know, but Mr. Lewis is only seconding it to get it on to this next stage, so I just need to know if he's gonna vote aye or nay and everyone, so, Mr. Phillips,
Yes.
yes, okay. Mr. Lewis
No.
and Mr. Colson.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes.
We still here?
Yeah, she's
Okay.
making notes, and then we'll go to the next one.
All right.
Okay, the second matter is David R. Maynard. He submitted an application for an auctioneer license. He's licensed in Missouri, but we do not have a reciprocal policy with Missouri. His request is being submitted for your consideration based on the attached documents. The auction from Dealer Connect Auto Auction is an active firm. I'm tongue-tied this morning. I included the reciprocity statute just for your reference. I'm just going to defer to you guys on this one. Don't worry
Does
too.
Missouri have an apprentice auction program?
I don't believe they do.
That's probably why we don't reciprocate with them.
I believe our policy has always been that if you don't have a Tennessee apprentice license, that the only thing you can do is apply for an apprentice auctioneer license and serve 2 years as an apprentice. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, I don't have the background to give you that
Now,
information.
he says on his application that he served 2 years as an apprentice. So that's, if Missouri don't have an apprentice license, I wonder where he did that.
I don't know. Well, Missouri is
There's-
what we're concerned with.
Is Missouri a licensed state?
Yes.
They are a licensed state. We don't reciprocate with them.
He said he
That's
served
probably-
2 years as an apprentice, didn't he?
Yeah, but I'm gonna say the reason we don't reciprocate with them is probably because they don't have an apprentice program. If they are a licensed state, because don't we usually reciprocate with licensed states if the way that's set up similar to ours?
Is he, let's see, am I reading that he's a car auctioneer, is that correct? Is that what he sells primarily, automobiles? Did I see that?
What it looks like from his occupation list.
Dealer Connect Auto Auction.
Have what I have.
Okay, this is his occupation list I see here. Auction in Lexington.
There is, what have we been doing when we don't reciprocate with the states? I know there's some states that doesn't have license laws, and we have let them come and serve an apprentice for 2 years and get their license.
Looks like he also had an Alabama license too.
It looks like he had one in Alabama and Illinois, and they do reciprocate with Tennessee, but he lives in Missouri.
Historically, that's not worked though. If you don't, just because you got a
Right.
reciprocal one with someone. Because a lot of times back in the day, we used to have people that would just get a P.O. box in a state somewhere that would
Yeah.
reciprocate and try to backdoor it. And
Yes, sir.
that's not what he's doing, but I mean, really, with them not being a reciprocal state, I don't know if there's anything we can do or that I'd be comfortable doing other than advising him if he just needs to find him a sponsor, and if he works for this auction service, that shouldn't be no problem. And start his apprenticeship and go on.
Are you making that as a motion?
I don't see why the chairman can't make a motion.
There's nothing against it.
Well, I'll
I don't
make the
know if we
motion that
can or
you were
not.
starting to make then, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
I make a motion that he obtain a sponsoring auctioneer in the state of Tennessee and serve, does he serve apprenticeship, is that right?
Right. And just do whatever he needs to do, just like everybody else. You know, I mean, because if he's working for this auction down in Lexington, Tennessee, shouldn't be no problem for him to find a sponsor. I don't think this is going to be a hardship of any kind. So,
He's working for an auction in Tennessee now?
according to his occupation list,
Well, how does he do that without a Tennessee auctioneer license?
well, he might be washing cars or something. I don't know. That's what I did. I won't look up like this when I talk to Howard because his voice has come from a ceiling. You know, it kind of freaks me out.
You're freaking me out, boy. Okay, that's my motion.
All
I'm
right.
sticking to it.
I've got it duly noted.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we need a roll call on this one, or? No, we're good. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right. Similarly, John Scott McMullen also submitted an auctioneer application. He's licensed in Missouri. I could not find that we had a reciprocity policy with Missouri. His application is duly submitted. He was also missing some documents from his application. I will follow up on that, but I didn't want to miss the opportunity to get it before the commission. I will request the other documents that are due, but unfortunately, it just barely came in before the commission meeting, and I wanted to at least get it in front of you. Do you want to handle it similarly to the last application?
This is Missouri also?
No, this one, yeah, Missouri. Both of them are Missouri. It's just a different company.
Yeah. I do what we did on the last one.
How about the consumer member? I don't want to sound like I'm taking everyone away from you, but if I was sitting there with you,
I'm motion we
know what I
accept.
was fixing, or you're fixing to. You want to make the motion on this because I don't want to sound like I'm the hog of the microphone.
I will motion that we accept.
Move that we do what we did on the last
Yes.
one? Okay. Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And
I would like to ask one question or one favor on this other one that's working for. Did I understand it correct that he's working for a Tennessee auction company now?
sounds like it, yes.
Well, don't you think we should find out what he's doing for that company? I mean, evidently he doesn't have a Tennessee auctioneer license.
Could be doing secretarial work.
That's correct, but we need to know if that's what he's doing, don't we? And if he is, I hope he's doing great with it.
I mean, we can certainly find that out, I guess.
Huh?
What do you think, Mr. Chairman?
What is it?
I mean, it's really the discretion of the commission. If no,
We'd have to open up an investigation to do it, and I don't know at this point that that's really what we need to do.
I don't want to scare him off just based on it. He submitted an application, so let's cut the guy a break. He's trying to do the right thing.
I'm always for doing the right thing.
Thank you. We think he is anyway.
Reason that I don't want somebody out of state coming to Tennessee and doing auctions because it ain't the right thing.
Well,
Without the license.
no one's complained about him so far.
Good deal.
All right, what we got next?
The last thing for your decision making is home prep. It's a course. They've submitted to become a continuing education provider in Tennessee. Their application's included. They've submitted all documents, including outlines, instructor resume, and an IDEC approval for online course delivery. I'm going to defer to your judgment on this one.
They are in Knoxville.
I don't have that paperwork with me. Could y'all hold 1 second till I get it, please? I gotta go to the next office.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Don't be messing with me. I'm enjoying it. It's fine, just like it is, all right?
All right.
Don't be messing.
Okay, everything's lovely.
Just keep flipping on me.
Y'all talking about me while I was out of the room?
Not much. I didn't let them, Howard.
Okay,
And
good
telling
deal.
stories.
Okay. You got it?
I got it, I'm ready.
All right. Would you like to present it or go over it, or do I need to do that, or let's look at it and see what we think?
I already did the summary,
done your
so
part, huh?
I've done my bit. Now it's you.
Well, let's just look it over for a minute here. It is refreshing to have someone from Tennessee that's doing this.
I think they have something to do with the university.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. I believe they do.
And I don't know if that's good or bad. but-
Strotzenberger College. Like what they're several courses here. Have any discussion, any motions, any thoughts, any, or we're still looking?
I'm through, I'm ready to listen.
How motion we approve?
You make a motion?
He did? We had a motion to approve. Did you second?
I did.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did you vote, Howard?
I voted aye.
Okay. I just checking.
Okay,
We won't get you wrote down wrong.
I hear you, brother.
With that, that concludes all of the application reviews. I turn the meeting back over to you, Mr. Chair.
All right, get me back to my beginning here. New business.
Did you say new business?
I said new business. Do we have any new business that anyone would like to discuss, or do we have anything under new business?
No, sir.
Because I'm touching here and it's not doing anything but getting bigger, so.
There isn't any.
We don't have any new business on the agenda. Do y'all have anything you'd like to discuss? Well, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Before you
Whoop,
adjourn,
hang on.
I would like to thank the ladies for, it seems to me like that this meeting was conducted in a very professional manner. And I appreciate that very much. Maybe we ought to have them all on the phone.
It just gets too crazy when everybody's here.
Yeah, it wouldn't be much people talking.
You're welcome, Mr. Phillips, anytime.
Thank you, and I'll second the motion to adjourn. Y'all have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
See you, Howard.